Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. I greet you with the honor and respect and the dignity that you deserve. I'm your humble host, David Null, also known as Hawkeye Two Feathers. I greet you with the love and honor from the infinite universe. So thank you for stopping by. And I've just been going through my normal checking the news and the headlines and so forth, see what's going on. And oh my goodness, they're at it again. It seems like they've stepped up this stupid war on the climate again. Now, if you've watched my channel at all, I've described what's going on with the planet. But the thing is some something just crossed over. There's a lot of energy in the house tonight, and I've kind of got a message to keep an eye out for beings. But there's nothing flying around in my house, and something just went across the screen right there. That camera picks up things that are orbs and things and little fairy lights and stuff. It's interesting. But anyway, with this climate thing, it's BS because the amount of volcanoes that are going off right now is discharging more sulfur dioxide and other really seriously harmful things into the atmosphere. And they want to blame it on you and me. And it's like, that's just plumb stupid. Now, if you want to have a, a fund or a tax, we'll say, to fund people who are affected by these natural changes in on of the earth and in our solar system, if you want to have a tax, hello, Marie, if you want to have a tax to help people that just got destroyed down on, in Mexico Beach in Florida from that nasty hurricane, for the people that got the wildfires. I mean, if you want to tax us and the money's going to go to relief and to help these people rebuild, we might go along with that. But that's not what they're going to tax it for. They're going to tax it for their own purposes. Well, we need to do this and we're going to charge you by the mile. I already don't drive. They doubled my taxes and with no reason except, well, your property must be worth more. No, it isn't. My backyard is full of water. It's a swamp when it rains like this. That's why it was $600 an acre, not 2,000. But I digress. The government makes up stuff all the time when they want to. I mean, I'm fighting this on a local level right now. And it's like, what's going on? Now, if somebody said, okay, we're going to really seriously have a fund and that's really seriously going to help people rebuild and replace things and damage food, whatever it takes to get people back on track from being, whatever earth changes have occurred, be it a tsunami or whatever, that there is money in this global pot that people can rebuild. I would agree with that. But calling it, we're going to alter the climate. They're already doing that with the chemtrails, and it's not working because the planet's been out of balance, and I'm not going to go into that. But they're really trying to sell this really hard now to people that, oh, this climate change is our damn fault. And it's not. The plastic in the ocean is our damn fault. Pollution in other ways is our fault. But the atmosphere and Mother Earth twisting and turning that way is not our fault. One volcano spews off more than most small countries do in a year. It's stupid. And the emission controls and everything that they passed way back when have done that much good. They never talk about the ozone layer because it got ripped off the atmosphere in a huge solar storm about 10 years ago, roughly. And it's like, but now they wanted taxes, and now should we talk about climate change? Yes, we should. We should talk about how to get people off of, you know, from the edges of really perilous places right now on the planet. If they don't want to live on the San Andreas Fault, but they can't move, then the fund should be to help move these people. They're empty homes somewhere. Maybe there's a job they can get. So fund them to relocate now before a tragedy occurs. I know there. I bet you there's people in California that would love to say, you know what? Maybe I should get the f out of here, but I don't know how. So, it's like we have to stop and think. So, what do they want this tax for? They want to burden us more and they want to control us, as they often love to do. And the idea, and I've talked about this before, so I'm not going to get into an earth wobble thing, but, go through my last couple of videos when I talk about the earth wobble. And at the moment, the earth is stabilized. It seems like things might actually be back to some kind of normal. I have water flowing through my backyard again. That hasn't happened in 5 or 6 years. Things are changing back the way they used to be. My eyes are open. We'll see. More observation is needed, etc. But already I'm seeing changes, and they're good ones. Now we got a crap load of rain, a little more than we really deserved. But to the point, though, the earth around me and where I'm living, the earth has finally soaked up enough water, the way it's supposed to be, so that the river I have water flowing in my backyard. Before, the water never reached a point, it was still sinking into the aquifer and stuff. So being able to see water flowing in my backyard just 100 feet or less behind the house, and maybe 75, is that means that the groundwater is finally full after a 5-year drought. We finally got enough groundwater so that it can flood. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so I'm considering that great, because I bought this place because it was a swamp, and has water anyway. But there's a lot of pressure to the Paris Accords, blah, blah, blah. Of course, everybody's bitching about Trump. And that when Trump, that was one of the smartest things he could have done, was said, that's bullshit. We're not doing it. America's not, we ain't signing jack, because it's horse hockey. And we need to be the grown up in the room and go, it really, truly is. And people are having the discussion of like, well, what should we do about climate change? Move people off the coast, relocate people, get them off of fault zones, move them away from volcanoes. You want to do something, but you're not going to change Mother Earth's rotation unless you're going to do something really more stupid than using chemtrails like they're already doing. So it's like, no, quit. You guys that are making these big decisions have already made enough crappy mistakes. No, what we need is to let Mother Earth recover, and we need to hang on until she does. Now, you've heard me talk about the galactic messages and all these things, but the thing is that things do seem to be more of a normal thing. I mean, even the jet stream is starting to come down through America the way it used to do, and bring a front in for 2 or 3 days of rain like we just had. And, it's like the cycle came back to normal, because all the other fronts that have been coming through, they get to us down here in Southwest Georgia and stop, and it doesn't rain. It just passes right over us, and it rains on the coast near Jacksonville. And it's like, what? Now it's like this front came through this last few days, and it's like a normal front from the old days. Oh my God. you know, So, but we're still in the observation mode as far as, is the moon and the earth, but from looking at everything, so up to this point, everything is looking like it's headed back to a normal position. So now why, as I've stated before, it seems like they're late with the science. It's like ET fixed the moon and put things back, and now they already have this stuff in the wings that they already planned. So now they got to talk about it. and they, since they don't really understand the science and what's going on, or they're just leaving ET out of the whole equation, et cetera, that now all of a sudden it's our fault again. It's all the cars. Well, we're driving less. We're actually using less gasoline and oil products than we have in a long time. Oh my God. So how is it that we're worse? Manufacturing and everything is down in the United States. There aren't any plants. So how can you say, well, America's making more pollution? What, from hamburger grease or whatever? Because the only thing I see that's being lucrative are fast food joints and restaurants. Everybody works for somebody into something. They work in the service industry. And that's exactly what the Clintons planned back in the late 90s. Bill Clinton made a speech, by the way, that he said that, that the United States was no longer going to have the burden and have the pollution, and that we would become a service nation. And when he said it, it was like, people are going to make stuff, they're going to do the dirty work, and we're going to be the people and go out and service the machines. They make machines now where you can't service them. What they meant in their rhetoric, but they attached it to this manufacturing thing, is that everybody's going to be working as a waiter or a janitor. We're going to be servicing each other in some kind of pancake house, Walt Disney World, whatever it is. We're going to be working in a service industry for each other. And also for the many Chinese who now have a lot of money and come over here, so we can treat them kindly. All right. So with that said, this is BS. Please don't buy into the hype. Please be kind when you tell other people it's BS. One volcano, and they're like above 15. I'm my last count, and I haven't looked in about 2 weeks, so I don't know what the current count is, but it was up to about 19 volcanoes, which is really high. And so the fact that all of this stuff is in the atmosphere, and for every volcano that's gone off just this year alone, it will take several years for those particulates to finally get to the ground because they were pushed so high into the atmosphere. That one, actually the two that went off in Guatemala, but the one went off again, and the other one's still smoking. But think about the thousands of feet, and these are tall volcanoes to begin with, and they throw dust and stuff into the atmosphere for 10 to 20,000 feet above the volcano. And so it's like, and these particulates will hang out in the atmosphere and get caught up in the jet streams and so forth. And it's like, that stuff's going to be up there a while. We're not going to be able to see it all or detect it, but it's up there. And they want to blame it on you and me breathing too much. We breathe out carbon dioxide, which is what plants use to make their leaves green, to make the chlorophyll. That's part of the photosynthesis process. So when they give us this rat crap, stupid excuse that the carbon footprint is too high, but the plants need carbon in at least limited quantities in order to thrive. So if you take away all the carbon dioxide, what are the plants going to use? What are the trees going to, use with photosynthesis? Anybody thought about that one? No. I'm a forester. I studied forestry. I live on 18 and a half acres. I've been watching this forest and all the forests down here in South Georgia for the last 40 years that I've been on this property. I got a really good idea what's going on with the environment. And I keep an eye on other parts of the country too. But I live what I'm talking about as far as being on the earth and being aware of it all the time, every day. I look out my windows. There is my environment right there. I observe it. And I know how things go when certain things have changed. And it's like the sun turning blue was a biggie. That had more to do with some of these climate changes and what's going on with plants and animals. But at the other side of this same coin, it's like they're not talking about any of that other science. It's you and me. It's us. We got it. Oh, we all share in this. Well, we share in it because we're sitting on this planet together, not in the same spot, but we're all cohabitating on top of this planet, and therefore it does affect us all. But if we're going to chip in and have a tax for something, then let's so that we can relocate people before another volcano goes off, give them a habitat far enough away from the ocean in case, if they're on a low land and a tsunami comes in. We need to be precautionary. Let's pay attention to what the galaxy is telling us, what the solar system is saying to the Earth, not just what these silly scientists are trying to shove down our throats again, that it's you and me's fault. Just ask the question, how many tons of crap come out of one volcano? Well, it's large. No, 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 no. When you really do the research, the science that they tell you, well, we do more pollution than a volcano. That's a lie. That's a bold-faced lie. They use what a little puffy volcano might put out. They don't talk about the great big Guatemala type eruptions that are sending things, into the stratospheres. And they ain't talking about that. And they don't. But that has more effect on the earth than you and me. Now, we need to pick up the plastics. Now, if they wanted to put a tax on plastic, I'd go for that one. People are just plastic everywhere, plastic. Okay, I'd be for that one. Okay, we're going to pay a tax, Ben, but it's going to go to fund getting the plastic out of the oceans, lakes, streams. I got plastic in my swamp. People drive by on the bridge up on the road, throw their shit into the river. It comes up in floods. Now it's in. I got plastic bottles and stuff in my backyard for it floats downstream and gets hung up in my backyard. So now I have to go walk in my backyard to pick up somebody else's garbage. Now that's just wrong. But that goes on a lot. And so you want to pay a tax or something, then let's do it so that we can have cleanup projects, so we can have relocation programs and get people out of dangerous areas and promote other things other than, oh my God, it's carbon dioxide and we should tax each other. That is stupid. You want to tax us to help other folk? Okay. You want to do it for, what I just mentioned? Fine. That I would raise my hand and say, okay, as long as you're going to be honest about it, honest and upfront, we're going to pay a tax into this, and it's going to help people who really need it, and people need to relocate and get out, and then do it. Don't hesitate. Pay people decent wages. Don't scrimp on it. Help them do it. Let's be compassionate. It's going to help out the planet. It will keep the mortality rate down during these changes. And there are a lot of people who are saying that for the up until about the year 2025. So that's another 6 years. And yeah, next 6 years could very well be like that. But we had a really cold spell during the Christmas of 44. I have discussed about the Battle of the Bulge during World War II. Then I knew a gentleman who was a sergeant during that time and lived through that horrendous 2-3 week period there in the Rhine and the Ardennes forest. But where many folks just literally froze to death. It was so cold. And that was one of the coldest winters. And it's like we've had cold winters before. And so people are like, oh, but this is the coldest. It depends. I mean, there are places and other times, like during World War II, there was the winter of 44 was really freaking nasty. There was some times in the 50s, it got really flippin' cold and snowy. Same thing in the 60s. We had a couple of years that it was, and so Mother Earth in this is a cycle. We go through cycles. If we get a little too warm, we just went through 5 years of drought. Now my backyard's flooded like it's supposed to be. This year had the most regular amount of rainfall than I've seen in literally 15 years. Honest to God. And so I see things happening and changing right before my eyes, and I say, that's a good thing. So stay away from the BS. We can't change the climate with all these volcanoes going off. We can pick up plastic. We can help each other get away from spots. We can help each other rebuild. But the nonsense part of this is that we create the carbon, therefore we must be taxed. That's the lunacy part of this. So I just wanted to jump on here and give my little, because it's like all over today in the last couple of, ooh, the conference, and they're having a discussion. Oh, shut up. Quit wasting your energy. Why don't you blowhards use some of that energy to heat a house? I mean, that's how I feel about some of this. But Marie, SC 47, man, what? Alex Jones has all the, what? Has it all figured out. Yeah, well, I've had it figured out for quite a few years, but Alex is Alex. But there are a lot of us who understand what's going on with the solar system and the planet. So, but with that said, hugs to everybody. And remember, I wish that all of you will accept and receive the healings from the universe, that you and your relatives and all of your relations will understand that the knowledge and the healing is there constantly. Tap into the source, keep your little telephone ringy dingy on, and be kind to each other. So thank you all. Till next time. Don't fall for the BS.